Hey everyone, how's it going? Bowser the Healer here, and welcome to the talent page update. I'm going to update you all on the playstyle changes that I've had, what's been going on for Season 2, sharing some of my thoughts. This is going to be mostly Mythic Plus related. I will just touch on some of my raid progress with all of you, but realistically, like, y'all know. Raid's fun, I enjoy myself, but you know I'm a Mythic Plus player at heart. So, over the gear changes, the talent changes, and some bits and pieces about how I feel about the dungeons. Before we get into it, I do want to note my next video is going to be providing tips for how to heal and deal with some of those bosses and packs in this season. However, I want some input. What do you guys want to learn about these bosses? What bosses or packs have been just brutal to you in your party and you want to just hear some tips? I figure I'll try to compile them in the comment section here and also in a post I'll make, and I'll make a video on that. So let me know how the season's treating you. Let me know what packs and bosses you want some advice on. And make sure you let me know where they are too, in case I don't know where that pack is. But let's get into it real quick. If you like this kind of content, hey, get subscribed. It means the world to me. I really like making this stuff and sharing it with all of you. So first things first, the gear. I'm going to get over it quick. So 434, it'd be 435 if I was rocking this. The Iridius Fragment, I'm not sure I want to swap to it just yet, but I will be using this in raid for like a ramp situation. It's definitely going to be in my DPS build, but you might be seeing this and going, Bowser, where's your tier? Well, I have one piece of the new tier and I ditched the rest of it. I'm at the point where I don't need the 20% damage and healing increase from Living Flame when they're instant cast to survive. In fact, I need stats. I need intellect and stamina. So I decided to opt to dropping into some higher value pieces, some of which might become tiers, some of which, you know, might stick around, like this helmet I got, which is pretty nice. I love this. But yeah, I don't plan to move away from some of these things. I just needed the straight up gear score in order to survive things, and it's been making a huge difference. A lot of dungeons and checks that were incredibly difficult have become much easier. Certain things on Fortified are overtuned and hurt a lot, and therefore, like, all the gear score in the world still kind of sucks. But this is what I've been rocking. The goal is to stay above 20% haste whenever possible. I can't tell you what I just accidentally changed to make my haste go from 20 to 19, but it is what it is. So I try to keep this around 20%. It's been feeling good. It's been playing good. I got used to not having instant cast Living Flames pretty quickly. But yeah, it also means I'm not just throwing out Temporal Anomaly and hitting Reversion unless I have nothing else better to do with the button, which means I'm running a lot less Grace Period right now. Grace Period is likely to come back when I am overgeared. It might actually be better, but we'll see how those high-end dungeons play out once I'm actually, you know, doing something like a 24. The talent page, I have two main ones, and then I'll tell you about two builds that I've heard about that I really like. Theoretical, one of which I won't run, one of which I will test after I finish getting Keystone Hero. But I have It's Hurts and Long Boy. So Long Boy is for those dungeons with the big long healing checks, right? Think of Neltheris with the Forge Master and how long you have to heal through that phase, or the last boss of how long you're dodging things. And it's good to have a heal running for a period of time while you're waiting to be able to cast. Or straight up Vortex Pinnacle in Halls of Infusion, the second boss in Vortex Pinnacle and the third boss of Halls of Infusion. Those crazy heal checks. Yeah, it turns out the hardest part about preservation, in my opinion, is long heals, because short heals that are bursty is exactly what we excel at. But those long heals where you have to really space out your cooldowns are tricky. Doable, but the more you can learn to spread out your cooldowns individually and where they go, the better. I'll be definitely going over that in my beginner's guide that I plan to make, so trust me, you'll hear all about that in that video. This is that build. Now, I don't change a whole lot when I go to It Hurts, and if you see like the CC talent, I usually get rid of stamina just to grab more CC for things like Halls of Infusion, taking Terror of the Skies for the same reason. But now we're running Bountiful Bloom, and we're running something a bit more burst healing. We have Time of Need and Ouroboros here to help us out. Now, again, I shifted one talent point. You may be like, Bowser, it's not a big deal. No, it actually helps a lot in dungeons that are burstier, like Underrot or Freehold. I really like having that extra healer come in and help someone out when they're low. I love having the extra heal from Bountiful Bloom. I'm constantly getting this thing above 3 stacks, and it heals quite a chunky amount. So this has been doing quite a lot for me. And if I have the wrong build going into a dungeon, it's not a big deal, but I'm even as crazy as taking off Erasure for extra points and other talents, simply to make sure I have everything. So on Vortex Pinnacle, you'll sometimes see me get rid of this one for a Renewing Breath, and then I'm running Font of Magic Ouroboros, Renewing Breath, and Time of Need in Vortex Pinnacle. It's just been wild because this has been a really hard season. Now, before I talk about my general opinions of the season and the playstyle changes that I've made that I haven't already gone over, there's a chance that I get rid of Erasure and maybe Ouroboros or Time of Need for Flow State rank 2. I honestly think that going faster after empowered spells might be the difference maker that makes playing some of these heal checks a bit easier, but I'm comfortable with my current build, so I don't really want to test the waters with this one until I've breached some of my goals. There's also a green build that gets rid of Temporal Anomaly and therefore Resonating Sphere and goes more of the green talents to focus on Emerald Blossom. It's viable. I don't even think it's that bad. And one of the people who's showing me it was talking about Cycle of Life. If you track this was a weak aura, it's not the hardest thing to find, but that build terrifies me. I don't like the inconsistency to it, and I don't like the lack of control I feel to have. That being said, I feel like with an organized group or with more carefree players, because I worry. That's all I mean by that. I worry. I think it's viable to go more green side, especially once we get our new talents, our tier set, excuse me. But it's just not a build I'm comfortable with. And so until it's super duper hyper meta, I probably won't try it out until I'm fully geared. When I'm fully geared though, I'll give it a real shot. So where I'm at right now in terms of IO, I wanted to get Hero before I recorded this video, but I didn't get it. You'll probably see me grinding that today and tomorrow on Twitch if you're watching this the day it comes out. How am I doing? Well, I'm doing pretty good. A few untimed keys, but a lot of good progress. I did get my 20 Underrot finally. It felt like no one had this key. Every time I logged on to look for it, no one had it, but there it is. Pumped about that. Just a real quick, because I will be talking more about my dungeon opinions. I really like Underrot, 10 out of 10. It feels fair. It feels like you respect the mechanics and you play as a team and you deal with some of the fixates and some of the frontals and you're golden. This place isn't super hard. Just requires a bit of trigger discipline on kicks. Doesn't feel overtuned, doesn't feel too heavy. It's our new Shadow Moon Burial Grounds, but it's a little harder. Freehold is okay. I just don't like the RNG. There's a lot of and the boss targeted this person 3 times in a row that I just can't stand. I hate sharks. 0 to 10. I despise sharks. Vortex Pinnacle just straight up feels overtuned though. This dungeon doesn't feel good. Uldaman's feels a little overtuned, but you can make it, so it's kind of fun to push your luck there. Very manageable dungeon, but there's a few mobs that make me question design choices. Neltharian's Lair isn't horrible, but Jagged Disc, man, go into that dungeon and watch how fast Jagged Disc casts. You'll lose your mind. People will just die in 2 to 3 of those casts. It's incredible. Also, I don't know why the critters at the start bolster. That's the worst design decision I've ever seen. Now, Theris is a bit tricky. It's tough, but it doesn't feel unmanageable. It's sort of in my Uldaman's tier of it's challenging, but it's not overtuned. Speaking of overtuned, Halls of Infusion is just way too hard. There's so much going on here that is so difficult to manage, that's so difficult to deal with. There's so many hard packs with tons of crowd control and tons of, hits and bleeds, and they chunk you, and it's hard. And I think it's overtuned, especially those ice dragons that you have to fight, or the water dragons. They're ice dragons. They suck. That magic debuff they put on people is brutal. Bring a Shadow Priest. Have Masked Spell. Makes your life a lot easier there. And then Brackenhide Hollow. After the nerfs and everything, this actually feels more fair than ever before. I put it with Freehold in terms of it's challenging, but if you know what you're doing, it's totally fine and very conquerable. So I'll probably be trying to get a 20 on this week if I can. But that's how I feel about the dungeons. I've hopefully have plenty of on-screen gameplay for you guys to watch, but if you ever want to watch me live, head over to Twitch. I'm trying to play this game a lot, all the time. Over next week, you might see me play some of my off games a little bit, because I've been playing almost non-stop World of Warcraft. And Tears of the Kingdom came out. Do you know how hard it is to keep me from Zelda? It's been hard. It's been hard, y'all. But that's it. Let me know what you're feeling about the season. Tell me in the comment section what bosses and packs you want some advice on, and I'll get right to that video. As for raid, I said I would say something. I will say we cleared normal and heroic basically week 1. We slaved Sakureth for, we had an AOTC group on Monday. They cleared it, and then we got it immediately on Tuesday this week. So we're already progging Mythic. It's been real fun, and yeah, I've been really enjoying myself. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all soon.